How important is that for Sam's program and your football program just to be nationally relevant once again?
Sure. I mean, just like it was last year when Moses Moody was drafted in the first round, having a player like Traylon go in the first round and early in the first round of the NFL draft just shows that you can accomplish your goals as a football player by attending the University of Arkansas. So it's a big deal for Coach, especially in recruiting in those future classes, that if you come here, you work hard, you do the right things, Arkansas can be a springboard to that professional opportunity for you.
And Arkansas was also in the national spotlight when Garth Brooks was in town last week. And I think Tommy is correct in saying that's probably the largest gathering of Arkansans ever. And I saw pictures of Sam, Eric, Mike Neighbors. Did you get a chance to attend that concert as well?
I did. I just didn't use social media as robustly as some of those other guys did.
Probably smart. So on that note, I think a lot of our listeners have been wondering, Hunter, as Tommy and I have, is that just like a once of every 5 years thing? Is that a once a year thing? I know you guys had to replace the field and that cost has to be added to it, but your thoughts on the success of the first time stadium concert and what that could look like moving forward in Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium?
I think from what we've heard so far, it was an overwhelming success. I was talking to someone yesterday. We've had absolutely no complaints from anybody on the university side, the athletic department side, the community side about the event. I said that was probably the first time. I said we couldn't lose the Garth Brooks concert. You know, we usually get complaints when you play a football game in there and you lose or something goes wrong and, you know, fans leave disgruntled. No one left that stadium disgruntled. Obviously, there was some traffic challenges. I think everybody anticipated that. But, you know, I don't know, you know, that this came about. We've been in the works with this for almost 3 years. And it was successful, but it is a huge burden on our Department of Athletics, on our university community to hold an event like that. I don't see that being an every year thing, but can that be every 4 or 5 years if we can find the right artist to pack Razorback Stadium? Absolutely.
Yeah. So compared to a big game day like the Texas game this past year, or an Alabama coming to town, what were the different challenges beyond traffic, just from a logistics standpoint and administration standpoint, to host that kind of event versus a traditional football game?
Well, you know, a traditional football game, we're in control of every aspect of the football game. We were not in control of every aspect of this concert. Obviously, the promoter really leases your venue for that day. They're in control of many things, and we're at their beck and call. So, you know, that's one of the challenges. The ticketing system, we're on a Paculin system for football. Garth Brooks' tour uses the Ticketmaster system, so that creates some nuances and challenges, especially for our ticketing staff as well. And then, you know, just the concert attendees do so. They all usually arrive within a 1 to 2 hour period into your community, where football, they're coming throughout the course of the day, tailgating, arriving to the stadium at various times. And so those are some of the challenges. Just the concert's a little bit different, we learn, than a football game.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on a job well done by you and your team. And I think, like you said, everyone in attendance had a great time, other than maybe the traffic, but that was well worth it. So moving forward, what are you and your team focused on? I know we got, 120 plus days to get ready for football season, but that's not a long amount of time for you in your position to get the stadium ready. We've heard about the turf. What other changes, amenities, expansions, what else might look a little bit different this fall for football?
Well, I mean, we're going to try to figure out that north end zone deck. We haven't used that to its full potential yet, and if we can put some VIP cabanas or some type of premium tailgating experience up on the deck where fans can even enjoy the game from there. That's one of the things. And fine-tuning how we do Hogtown and the Hog Walk just to make the experience as well as it can be for our fans. And then we're working with our concession vendor in our stadium to improve point-of-purchase areas. And can we add more? Can we cue the lines differently so that we can get our fans, as we continue to anticipate, great crowds, game in and game out? We want to make sure the experience is great from when you're standing in line for concessions, the restrooms, you're queuing. If you came to the Garth Brooks concert, you notice we have some new magnetometers that you just walk through. We don't have to check your bag anymore. We think that's going to expedite the process entering the venue. The Garth Brooks concert was the first time we had tested those. we'll have those for football season. So we're continuing to meet, evaluate, and just try to make the fan experience as well as it can be. Because, as Sam Pittman continues to win football games, we're going to continue to have great crowds, and we have a great home schedule. And so it's exciting to look forward to the fall 22 football season.
Hunter, this is Clay. I'm going to ask you the fun question that you get every single day. When will we know on the head coach's contract?
Yeah, so, it was leaked or whatever, however you want to call it, a few weeks ago at the spring game. But we have agreed to terms with Coach Pittman. Right now, the lawyers, both on our side and Coach's side, are working out the details of I'd say we've got the meat and potatoes done, and now it's the other things that the lawyers want to continue to vet to make sure they're perfect. So we're in a really good spot. The lawyers are going to fine-tune that contract, and we should have that released here in the coming weeks. But the good news is that it's done. So
when you look forward to football season in your home schedule, do you have a feel for what capacity is going to be and what's left out there? Will there be single game tickets available for any of these sweet games? And I can't remember a better schedule, Hunter.
It's the first time, Clay, that we've ever had 7 games in Fayetteville, and we open up with Cincinnati, who went to the CFP last year. We've got Alabama, LSU, Ole Miss. We've got a visit from Missouri State, and we all know who their head coach is, and so that'll have a little bit of intrigue that game normally may not have. And so we do have a great home schedule. We're working towards getting into that mid-40 to mid-50 season ticket range. You add on our student tickets and then some mini packages. We believe we'll have some single-game tickets, but we're continuing to push to fill that stadium, not just for Alabama, LSU, and Cincinnati, but for all 7 games that we have next year.
It would be incredible to think about that stadium like the Garth Brooks concert, right? I mean, it can happen, though.
Absolutely. We just don't need all those people in the field again. I can't afford that.
I thought that was the fun part of games. I mean, let's just say this. When you beat certain teams, and I'm not going to go into details, the people are going to go on the field, right?
Yes.
Very lawyer answer there. Hunter Yurachek.
Not encouraging anything at all.
No, I'm talking about Alabama. Let's just be honest. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Hunter Yurachek here with us on the Morning Rush. So Clay's talking about capacity, Hunter, and I think a lot of people are expecting much larger crowds inside of Donald W. this year based on Sam's success this past year. Basketball-wise, you had a season sellout this past year, back-to-back years with the highest attendance in all of college basketball. And I know you spoke to one of Clay's former colleagues at Whole Hog Sports, Matt Jones, about this, just kind of the renovation process in 3 to 5 years. I think a lot of fans are wondering who have season tickets, what that's going to look like. And I think a lot of them expect Eric to have sustained success with this basketball program. So just for all our listeners, what does that look like with those Bud Walton renovations in the coming years?
There's not anything definitive for sure. We have some ideas. We need to make some improvements to the premium amenity offerings that we have within Bud Walton Arena. Is that a club area with club seats, renovated suites, the loge boxes in the end zones that have been successful at football, and now out in right field and baseball, the addition of those. We'd like to move student seating, at least some of it, courtside to create an even better home court advantage than we already have. And obviously the capacity is a big issue because of the success of our program, how Razorback fans support our program. We want to, whatever renovations we do to that facility, we want to make sure it has minimal impacts on the capacity of that facility. So still a lot of work to be done to really analyze that and get to a point where we feel comfortable moving forward. And it's probably the economy right now, especially in the construction market, gives us the opportunity just to really be patient and take our time through this process.
Hunter, I wonder how you balance kind of the marketing versus the student tide. I talk with students who really enjoy being around you, and I talk with older boosters that really be around you. And Eric always told us he learned a lot of marketing things from his father. How do you balance being the guy that has to talk with the big wigs and then the guy that puts on a shark shoot before the Kentucky game? How do you balance that?
It's just, guys, I just feel like I just let in myself. I just try to be as genuine as I can be, and I'm comfortable being in front of the donors in a suit. I don't like to wear a suit. I'm not Eric Musselman as far as suits go, but I don't like to wear suits if I don't have to any longer. But I'm comfortable in that environment, and I'm comfortable relating to students and student athletes and just having some fun. We work really hard not to have fun in what we do in college athletics, and in the end, we're just trying to create opportunities for student athletes to be able to play sports they love. And you read about everything that's going on in there and college athletics, and we've kind of lost the focus of that, in my opinion, and hopefully we can get that back. But I just try to be myself, and I'm comfortable in being myself with the major donors, and I'm comfortable being myself with students.
Hunter, this weekend, your baseball program on display, 2 national telecasts, ESPN2 and ESPN this weekend, as the Hogs are once again inside the top 5 in most polls. There was a pretty drastic change in the way you allocated where people's seats were and the donation required. How is this season's attendance and the way that program was rolled out this year? Has it met your expectations?
Well, first, let me tell you, the most important thing about this weekend's baseball series is who's throwing out the first pitch on Saturday.
Well, we were going to get to that in a minute, but yeah.
Sorry,
you stole my thunder.
Make sure we don't. So we can get back to that. But what I will tell you is, I have people that have emailed me, sent me messages. They believe attendance is far worse than it was. But if you go back to our last full SEC season, which would have been the spring of 2019, because we didn't have a full SEC season in 2020. We didn't have full capacity until the Florida series last year in 2021. And you compare the March and April SEC series with the March and April series we had, and the attendance has been almost identical. And so while it looks like it hasn't fallen off, I think we all have a little bit of selective memory about what March and April of 2018 and 2019 looked like as compared to March and April of 2022. Looks very similar, and I expect as we get into May and regionals and super regionals, you'll see that stadium, like it has in the past, create a dynamic home field advantage for our team moving forward.
And as you mentioned, Clay is going to throw out the first pitch this weekend. Have you done anything to beef up the security behind home plate? Have you done anything maybe to double net the background area there to keep the fans safe?
Well, we've created a little league pitching mound about halfway between the regular mound and home plate that we're going to have out there for Clay.
Thank you, Jesus.
Now, Clay, are you going to go up on the rubber, full wind up? What are we going to get this weekend?
No. Scott Tabor brought a baseball out on the practice range the other day, and let's just say my ability to pitch, I have an ability to toss. I don't have a pitch in me. My ability to throw is kind of gone like my writing. I'm slipping a little bit, guys. So I'm old. So wherever you can put me halfway, I would appreciate that, Hunter.
Hunter, have sports medicine on standby. That's what he's saying here.
We will. I think if you just kind of wing that in there like you would a fly fishing rod into the river, you'll be fine.
I could do that.
Yeah. So have you considered, or after last weekend, is the thought of maybe a Baum Walker concert been brought up in staff discussions?
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked about that on multiple occasions. Just some of the country music artists that we have that are in the state of Arkansas, whether it's a fundraising opportunity for a concert or just another concert for our fans, that would be a great venue to have a concert in. And so that's one that we have discussed for sure.
All right, Hunter, you've got our audience's undivided attention, and I know this is more of Scott Verity and the foundation's job, but, the home schedule that Clay referenced earlier, it's unbelievable, and it's the opponents, too. You get a ranked Cincinnati team who had a first-round draft pick in Juice Gardner last night, Spencer Rattler coming in. You've got Liberty and Hugh Freeze, Bobby Petrino, Mo State. What is your pitch to fans that haven't bought season tickets yet, why they should this year?
Well, you just mentioned all of those teams that are right there, and then our fans know this first and foremost, whether it's been at Von Walker Stadium, whether it's been at Walton Arena like we did against Auburn and Kentucky and Tennessee, and last year against Texas at home in Razorback Stadium. When our fans show up in full force, they create an unbelievable home court, home field advantage that is like no other court or field in the country. And that's why we need them to come out to support our student athletes, to support our coaches, and to just continue to show great pride in this state. And, when our athletic teams are having success like they're having right now, the pride across the state of Arkansas is like none other. And that's really why you should come out and just continue to support these student athletes. They're working hard, and we've got a great schedule, a great season ahead of us. And I promise you, if you can help us create a home field advantage by purchasing season tickets and showing up, great things are going to happen in the fall of 2022.
All right, last one from us, and we got about 30 seconds. Top Golf next week, Razorback Stadium.
Yeah.
What's that going to look like for fans that have bought tickets?
Yeah, so we're going to take the SEC club, the outdoor club. They're going to build those Top Golf platforms out there. You'll be hitting to targets just like you would at any Top Golf that will be out on the field. We do have some netting that will be placed up, but you get to come to Razorback Stadium, come to the SEC club, and hit golf balls out under Frank Boyle's field. It's going to be a pretty neat week for sure.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people next week. Hunter, thanks for your time, and hope to see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great weekend, and go Hogs.
All right, we'll see you at the ballpark this weekend. Hunter Yurachek with us here on the morning.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs, sports info, and odds. Find all the latest sports developments, including this week's odds for the Masters Championship and the start of Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so join today. Learn why everyone is saying BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on popular sports and games. Bet online, where the game starts.